In as much as the world is moving very rapidly, development everywhere, rapid growth, we are experiencing changes here and there. Every day, everything changes, right? In fact, it's now a norm to say the one thing that is constant in life, I don't know how that is justified, but it's said that is change. Change is constant and it's been accepted. Now, but the truth is there are some things that don't change, right? There are some things that have been the same from ancient times up till this very point. Wherever you are, wherever you're watching me from, whoever you are, wherever you come from, the truth is there are some rules, principles, laws in life that are universal. They don't change. They are unchanging. They are everywhere. They are constant. And the truth is, if you violate these laws, then you're going to get, of course, there are laws. If you violate them, there are going to be consequences. But I tend to have realized of recent that many of us have actually violated these laws, or we haven't actually recognized that there are laws. These laws do exist. And so we've ignorantly violated them, and we actually reaping the consequences of the violation of these laws. So I thought to myself, you know, you could be out there right now and you're asking me, why the pathfinders? Why are we doing what we're doing where we are right here? Why exactly are we taking our time out of our lives? Of course, the unit of destiny is time, and whatever you give your time to, you give your life to. So we're taking time out of our lives, dedicating it to a cause such as this. It's because I believe that if the mind of man can change, everything can change for such a man. Now, let that soak in with you. If the mind of man can change, then everything, I don't care what it is, trust me when I tell you this, I truly don't care what it is. But if the mind of man can truly change, then whatever your circumstances right now, I just want you to believe me when I tell you this. Whatever your circumstances right now, if you can change your mind, if your mind can change, if you can start thinking in a different way, if you can start having the mental construct that is in alignment with the person that you're supposed to be rightfully in the world, if you can develop the traits, the innate abilities, if you can refine your personality into such a person who becomes such a one who is ultimately aligned with your ultimate potential, everything will change for you. Now, you may ask yourself, what do I mean by that? And don't worry, I'll explain what I mean. But I truly want to take out today to talk about something that I believe is very profound and is inevitable, it's unescapable. You can't circumvent it, right? And this is something I noticed in my own life, really. And I found out that, of course, starting from nothing, currently in a place where I'm not where I want to be, right? But I'm certainly not where I used to be, right? Progress has been made. Things have been achieved. But I've noticed really in the course of my journey, of course, it's not really easy. And the truth is, life is not meant to be easy, right? What you're striving for, what you want to achieve, that thing that you have placed as your ultimate goal, it's not meant to be easy. I mean, recently we started on a project to go all around the country and interview and gather knowledge from young entrepreneurs in general who have succeeded in their craft, and our aim is to have them distill their experiences to us, to me, and then consequently to all of you watching. And so this really is, it's a great privilege to me, and it's a great project. Of course, with great power there comes great responsibilities, and it's something that we've taken upon ourselves and we are at it. But trust me, it hasn't been easy. It's been challenging, but it's been worth the while. Now the question is, what is the meaning of life? And I'm really going to challenge you today on the need to have belief. They need to have belief. But then just put that on hold and let's answer the question, what is the meaning of life? Now, I know who you are. I know what you're doing. I could know where you're coming from. But the question that is most times left unanswered is why you are. Why are you? And that's something that is so perplexing that most times the question tends to be so scary that people avoid answering the question, right? We as a race, humanity, we've kind of brought this idea that, the future is there, right? And the future is what's happening. The future, in some sense, is inevitable if you continue existing. The next second is the future. The next minute is the future. If you stay alive to the next minute, then you are the future of the past minute, right? So the future is there. Now the question is, why do you strive in your current life? What is the reason for your striving? What is the reason for which you are striving? What's the reason for that sacrifice you're putting yourself into? What's the reason for that struggle, that challenge that you're putting yourself through? Why go through that pain? Why go through that discomfort? And the answer is something like this. We know the future is there, and we know there are things that we can do to better the future. So the ideology is something like, we are not all we can be in the present, and so the future should be better than the present. That's what we've purported in our minds, right? Which is a worthy ideal, which is a worthy thing to think. But you ask yourself, how can I coordinate myself in such a way that the attainment of the aim for which I'm striving for the future, towards the future, how can I coordinate myself in such a way that my attainment of that aim becomes certain? Because who you are right now is not enough. What you're doing right now is not enough. So what is required for that goal that you have set, that, okay, I am going to be in the future? You're going to be in the future. Wherever you're watching this from, you're certainly going to be in the future. There is an aim for the future. How can I align myself in such a way that I become the person who attains or achieves that goal in the eventual future? And one of such requirements is what I want to talk to us about today. I have never met a person in my life who attained any reasonable success, any reasonable degree of success, without a great level of belief, without having belief in himself. I have never, and I dare to tell you that there is none. There is nobody who has attained success in any endeavor whatsoever could come into, whatsoever you are envisaging right now. There is nobody. Whoever you're celebrating right now, call them nerds, call them psychophants, call whatever names you label them. There is one trait that runs through all of them, and that is belief. They believe in their abilities. They believe in what the future holds for them. They believe in what's possible. Now I want to ask you this question. What is your life? What is your life? Now I dare you to ask yourself that question, right? What is your life? Now, and I'm not just saying that you should mount the words and throw them into the air. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there is necessity for you to go to sleep. You wake up. You refuse to step out of your room without having answered the question. You sit up on your bed and you ask yourself with the intention to know, not just to mount the words to have a justification to your conscience that the question has been asked. That's futile. That's not fruitful. But if you mean a question, you can get the answer. But of course, many of us are guilty of the fact that we tend to, just brush up things just because for eye witness, right? Eye service in many forms. But then mean this question: what is your life? What is the reason for your life? Nobody gets out of life alive. What's the worst that can happen if you strive towards the attainment of your goal with all you have? What's the worst that can happen to you if you live forth your truth outrightly in the world? What is the worst that can happen if you make up your mind today to start living purposefully, to find your path? Because finding the path is the goal. Your goal in life is finding your path in life. Because if you don't find your path in life, then you're going to live a useless existence. So your first port of call in life is to find the path, the road, the route for you. Because there are different routes in the highway of life, right? So finding your path is your goal. That should be your goal right now. Now, I'm suggesting to you that in order to do that, it's not going to be suggestive. I can make thousands of sections like this, and if you don't, I can't teach you nothing, right? There is nothing I can teach you. You answering this question for yourself is the best thing you can do for yourself, and I'll be happy to know that I prompted you to do so. So here's what I'm suggesting: sit upon your bed and ask yourself, why am I here? Why am I alive? What is the reason for my life? And when you find the reason, when you finally resolve that, okay, the world is terrible, right? Terrible things are happening. People are dying. There's scarcity, there's poverty, there is tragedy in the world. In amidst all these things that are going on in the world, what would I be doing with my life that will be worthwhile for me? What would I be doing? What would I have to be doing with my life that I can say 50 years from now, 20 years from now, all things considered, I partook of all the suffering, I partook of all the challenges, I partook of all the hindrances. I've strived my way to this point. What is that point that if you could get to, you will look back and say, it was worth it for me? Now that's the question I want you to ask yourself. The struggles are inevitable. The problems in life are certain. Nobody escapes them. Tell me this, and I tell you this before you tell me anything. The billionaire you see, the rich people, of course I want you to be rich. Of course you're going to be rich. If you continue listening to me, in fact, the only reason why you found this session, the only reason why I know you're going to be successful, and not because you found or because you're listening to me, no, not necessarily that, but because you found me. I'm not going to be the reason for which you become successful, but the reason that I'm sure and I know that you're going to be successful is that you are such a person who has made up his mind to the extent that you know that there are things out there that can help you and aid you towards the attainment of your goal. And that's exactly why you found this video right now. The truth is, there are billions of people on the same platform that you're using right now. Guess what they're doing? They are tapping, they are scrolling. They are tapping, they are scrolling. And that's not even as dangerous as the other end of what's happening, right? Because the truth is, a great majority of them are tapping and scrolling on things that are not benefiting them. They are tapping and scrolling on things that are more harmful. You know, you could be on YouTube. YouTube can help your life. YouTube can make you a better human being. But then you could also be on that same YouTube and you become suicidal. Literally, think of taking your own life. Now the question is, what separates, just juxtapose two individuals? One got on the platform YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. Let me cover them all so that, you know, nobody is going to attack me for exempting any one of them. One of them is going to be successful. The other is going to end up suicidal, failure, instincts, innate failure tendencies, with the will to fail, right? Because I found out that it's not just that people are going to fail, but then to some degree they are forged in them the willingness to fail. That's why they make up excuses. That's why they decide not to do things. That's why they skip things. That's why they sleep unhealthily. That's why they eat unhealthily. That's why they don't take care of themselves. That's why they've given up on life, right? And that they have submitted themselves to failure. Now, most people are like that, and I want to believe that you are not like that, right? So, two of them, same platforms. 5 years from now, one of them is going to use the platform to develop his or herself to a point where he or she becomes a better individual. And the other one is going to while away that 5 years. No improvement, most likely degrading, going downwards instead of going upward. They use the same thing. The platforms. Why the different outcomes? Because they used it in different ways. That's just the simplest explanation you can give it. But that's why I'm telling you right now that the reason why I'm sure that 5 years from now you're most likely going to succeed. There are no guarantees in life, right? I can't guarantee that you're going to be successful, to be truthful and quite honest. But then you are most likely to, because you found this right now. And congratulations to that. Now, if you're listening to me, wherever you're listening to me from, if there is one thing I can communicate to you that I believe that is going to be most beneficial to you, is the necessity to believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Believe in your ability. Believe in what's possible. Believe in what the future holds for you. Believe in your ability, the possibility for your life to become better. Because that is where it starts from. I have never seen somebody who achieved success in life. And I tell you this, I talk to many successful people almost on a daily basis, if not on a daily basis. Successful individuals who I can say I look up to, at least with a sense of admiration, right? I look up to them because of the pain they've put themselves through and what they've been able to achieve. That's admirable, that's noteworthy, right? So I can say to some degree, not all, but to some degree, some of them I do look up to what they've been able to accomplish. I have never met anyone or interacted with anyone in all my interactions that got to where they are and they tell you, oh, I didn't know I got here. They tell you this, I believed I could do it. I didn't know how. Now that's really the challenge, right? Most times we tend to try to figure out how too soon. So instead of making sure the belief is in place, we're trying to be logical too soon. But the first point of call, the first thing you should make sure it's in your arsenal is the belief factor. Your mindset being made up. You can achieve it. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can actually achieve. Now, believe you can do it. And I'm not just suggesting you listen to me, but you have to believe you can win. That's the prerequisite, that's the precondition to any level of success. Whatever, believe you can achieve it, and trust me, you will achieve it. And I tell you this, 2-3 years from, you're going to look back at this section and say thank you. I'm going to have to end this now because we're having some distractions, but then take this. It's sufficient. What you've listened is sufficient for you to go on with your life and achieve great successes. So go out there, believe in your dreams, and I trust you will achieve your heart desire. Now, if you like this content, one way you can tell me